Welcome to Teachers in Real Estate podcast with your host, Jackie Durbin. I have built a six-figure income from using what I learned from being a teacher. Teachers make great agents, but guys, it isn't all sunshine and rainbows. Some people are cutthroat. Some clients will make you want to throw in the towel, but your years in education have built you for a career in real estate, and I am here to help. With the right mindset and the right tribe, you can experience the same success. You can either supplement your income as a part-time agent or go full-time into real estate. The tools I will share will help you gain the confidence and the expertise to reach your goals. Whatever your goals, let's enjoy this time together. This podcast is geared towards teachers who are looking to start in real estate and teachers who are already rocking dual careers. If that's you, grab your notebook, pencil, and let's buckle up. We are about to begin Teachers in Real Estate. Well, hey there, friends. I have to tell you, I am actually recording this podcast while I'm sitting in my son's school parking lot awaiting to get on a school bus for a field trip. And when I tell you I'm having a little bit of PTSD, I'm having PTSD because it's been a long time since I was like the teacher in charge of the field trip. And you know, the kids get super excited about field trips, don't they? Like they get so excited. They're like, yes, we get to leave school. We're going out in public. And the teachers were like, holy crap. Have I talked to the school nurse? Do I have all the medicine? Do I have all the permission slips? Did I bring the check that I have to give to this venue? Is this child going to act like they have sense today? Like, it's just all the things. And then as parents, we're like, oh my God, this is how loud it is on a school bus. Like, okay, yeah. So don't worry though. I already took my Tylenol, so I should be good. Shouldn't get a headache from being on the bus. But I'm really excited about this field trip. So for those of you who are new, this may be the first time that we've met. So welcome. And I'm glad that you're here. So this is episode 60. And what I want to talk about are just like some rando things. But anyhow, let me give you a little bit of background. So I am Jackie Durbin. I'm the host of Teachers in Real Estate. And yes, I was a teacher for nearly 2 decades. I retired in the end of the 2021 school year, just after we had gone back in person with COVID. No, I did not leave teaching because of COVID. I left teaching for totally different reasons. But anyhow, I'm also a mom. I have 4 rock star kids. I have a 20-year-old daughter named Haley, and she is actually in college right now working on becoming a cardiac sonographer. I'm like, really? I don't even know what that is, nor can I even spell sonographer, but whatever. I have a 19-year-old who is finding herself in the world and figuring out what she wants to do. But she did just start a business that I helped her with. It's called Walks with Addie. So my 19-year-old Addison has a love for animals like no person I've ever met. Actually, I lie. I have met someone who has a love for animals like her, and that is her grandmother, my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law would literally like find stray animals and just bring them home because that's the heart that she has. And, you know, it's kind of, I think, instilled into my own daughter. So she started a business and I helped her out. We started a website and all the things, and she's actually going to be dog sitting this weekend for a family. So she's rocking this whole entrepreneurship. So I hope she knows that, hey, it's in for a bumpy ride, right, folks? Then I have a 16-year-old daughter who is a junior in high school. She just got her driver's license. That is a new type of fear. Like when your children go off to school for the first time without you, you're kind of like, oh, okay, are they going to be okay? Are they going to be nice? Are kids going to be nice to them? Are they going to make friends? Are they going to learn? Like what's going to go on? And when your child starts driving without you in a car, you talk about fear. And then I have a 7-year-old. Yep, we go from 16 to 7. Jackson is a 2nd grader. And he's the one that I'm going on the field trip with. And I'm super excited about this field trip. It's called a Fun Run. And it is an annual event that they have at a park here right outside of Phoenix, Arizona, where we reside. And it's an event for kids with developmental disabilities. So Jackson has autism. And so this is going to be like a fun activity. It's going to be all kids who, you know, have some type of developmental disability. And they get to just enjoy the day where they're being celebrated. So I'm super excited. But you're not listening to this podcast because you're like, ooh, I wonder what are Jackie's life like? Like, no, you're not listening for that. You're listening to it because I want to teach you as a teacher how to build a career in real estate. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about on today's podcast is choosing your tribe. Now, I talk about in the introduction that picking the right tribe also helps to maintain that you have the right mindset. Now, when you go into anything, right? Like I remember when I started teaching, people often ask me like, why did you go into education? Is it because you had all of these wonderful teachers or blah, blah, all this stuff? And yes, I did have a couple that I can think of in my head, wonderful teachers that impacted me as a student. One that I've talked about, I think in past podcast, her name was Miss Campbell. I cannot bring it to call her by her first name, even though I'm like 43 years old. She was my third grade teacher. And then also she was my fifth grade teacher. And Miss Campbell was the type of teacher that I think all of us in education want to be. She was the person that I looked forward to seeing every single day. Don't get me wrong. I loved my family. I love my parents. My mom wasn't actually a teacher at the exact same school. But she brought education to life. Even though we were learning and we were doing work, it never felt like work. It always just felt like fun. She had a spirit in that classroom that it wasn't just me that felt that way. It was every single child in that school that ever had her as a teacher. And everyone had her as a teacher because it was a small school. There was only one grade or one homeroom for each grade. So everyone who went through third or fifth grade ended up having Miss Campbell. And so when I went into education, that was the type of person that I wanted to be. And what I found was it's kind of hard to always be that teacher, not because of anything other than the environment inside of a school can really drown a teacher. And what I mean by that is if you are in a school or a school district or whatever you have, and there's a lot of negativity. Okay. Now, where can negativity come from? Well, lots of places, right? It can come from interactions with parents. It can come from interactions with peers. It can come from administration. It can come from district level. It can come from state influence, right? I mean, we take these standardized tests and then they basically make a checklist of, hey, this school didn't meet this number, and so that means that all of the teachers suck. I mean, sorry to put it frank, but that's kind of the feeling that you get, and it's already, I feel like, so stressful as a teacher because yes, our days end at a certain time, but that doesn't mean that what's on our heart and what happened in the day and the kids that we've been in contact with don't come home with us, right? Like I know there were, 4 years that I taught in a Title I school in I would say a rough area of the city in Louisville. And there were times when I would go home and I would just cry the whole way home. And it wasn't anything that had happened at school. It was just I was worried about my students. They were in neighborhoods that were not known to be the safest areas of the city, and I worried about them. And they were going home to, possibly a single parent household with a parent who was working multiple jobs to make ends meet. And I worried, is there going to be dinner for you tonight? Or, are you going to have time to, do what you need to do and then also help your parent out with, the other siblings that are at the house? So there's so many things that can impact us as educators that I think we don't really talk about a lot. And that is the same that holds true when you go into the career of real estate. So picking a tribe, picking an office, picking a brokerage that's going to give you the right mindset to reach a level of success, because you can be like, yeah, I want to kick butt. I want to, pay off my student loans. I want to, if you have children, if you're a parent, I want to, give my children opportunities to be able to go to whatever college they want to, or if they don't want to go to college and they want to start their own business, like one of my children, I want to be able to have the resources where I can help them get started and, give them the influence they need. Like that's what we do as individuals, right? As humans, we're always looking at ways that we can better other people. And I think that's part of being a human, but it's also a big part about being a teacher. We have this heart that we're not going to give up on our students, no matter how difficult they may be on certain days. at the end of the day, they're still our kids. Like, I remember saying that all the time. Like, I would talk to, my non-teacher friends and I'd be like, oh my gosh, my kids are so funny. Guess what they did today? And they're like, wait a minute. How many kids do you have? And I'm like, oh, see, I'm a teacher, remember? So like my kids, when I talk about my kids, I'm talking about my own children and then also the kids that I teach because they become my kids. And like, have you ever had that kid in the classroom that accidentally calls you mom? And they get so embarrassed. And I would always tell the kids, you know what? I am somebody's mom. So that's okay. Like, it's all right. And, but they would always, and it was always the boys that would get so like bent out of shape. Like, oh my gosh, I just called my teacher mom. How weird is that? I'm like, dude, it happens a lot. Like, I wish I had like a nickel for every time a kid called me mom. And, but anyhow, that's beside the point, right? I want to talk about picking your tribe in real estate. Now, I also talk about in the intro that this business is cutthroat, and it is. There are a lot of real estate agents that have the wrong mindset. They have what I call a scarcity mindset, meaning it's always going to run out. When they have a transaction that's in escrow, meaning that, there's either they're representing a seller and it's, going to be closing and they're going to get a paycheck, or maybe they're representing a buyer and they picked out the house, they wrote an offer, it was accepted, and now we're just waiting for, all of the things to be done. So that way, people who have a scarcity mindset are always scared. And that's why we call it a scare study. Okay. We're worried that it's going to run out, right? Oh my gosh, I closed my transaction, but I don't even have a buyer. So like, what's going to happen after I get paid here? Like, I'm not going to have any more money. Or, oh my gosh, the market, which don't even get me started on the market. There is nothing you can do, right? It is completely out of your hands. You have no control over it. So quit worrying about it. Just understand it, right? It's no different than having a child in your classroom that has a learning disability. It doesn't mean they can't learn. It means that you need to understand their disability more than they do, more than, or I guess maybe as much as like a physician. So that way you can develop a plan to help them reach the level of academic success, right? That's the same thing, right? When you're in real estate, you have to always be thinking, okay, this is the market. Okay, so currently, 2023, our market had shifted, okay, because of interest rates, right? Interest rates were at, historical low levels. We were seeing 2% and 3%, which honestly, in my mind, I'm like, how is this going to be able to sustain? Like, this isn't going to work. We're giving away money and we're not going to make enough money back, right? So there were those fears. But then now, inventory, okay? In my current market, inventory is very low, which is hard on buyers, right? Already, because they're going to have a higher interest rate. So maybe now they've had to change their price point. So there's all these different things, right? Now, if you are with people who also have a scarcity mindset, then everyone's running around in fear, which is not how you should live your life. You cannot live a life in fear. Living a life in fear, you are always going to be depressed. You're always going to be sad. There's always going to be something that's going to happen. And it's just not good, right? So you need to be with people who are like, you know what? Yes, there's a problem. Yes, things are changing, but I'm going to create a plan to reach the level of success that I want, regardless of what's going on, right? Because there's so many things that are out of our control. Now, one of the things that I would encourage you is talk to lots of brokerages, okay? I don't care if your cousin's brother's aunt's dog walker works at XYZ brokerage and loves it, right? That doesn't mean that it's going to be great for you. You should be, when I interviewed with my brokerage, the first thing that one of my partners said was, you know what, I'm going to send you a DISC assessment. And I'm like, a DISC assessment? Why in the world are you sending me a personality test? And she explained to me, this is the personality that I am. I know who I am as a person, and she is a very high D on the DISC assessment. And she's like, people who maybe have different personalities are going to have different struggles getting into real estate. And so me understanding who you are as a person is going to help me know how I need to help you out. And I'm like, wow. That's like, I mean, honestly, like that's like education, right? So like first day of school, we're not teaching all the kids the same, right? We give them maybe like hey, this was last year's curriculum. Let me see what you know. And then now let me tailor, right? Let me individualize this education plan for you specifically. It's not a one size fits all. And that's the exact same thing with real estate. It is not a one size fits all. Okay. So when I took my DISC assessment, what I found was that I was a high I, which is an influencer, right? I like to get in front of people. I like to make people. Obviously, hello, I'm running a podcast, right? I have a lot to say, but I'm also a high S. So an S is in systems. So because I had those two letters that were high in my personality, she knew, okay, in order for me to help you be successful in this very new career that you're just getting into, one of the things that I need to do is ensure that I am creating systems so that way you feel successful, right? So we know as educators that there are different types of learners. Yes, you have an auditory learner, you have a visual learner, you have body kinesthetic, you have all of these different things, right? So when you're going to work with people, they need to understand, okay, what type of realtor am I getting who's going to be working with me? And what do I already know based on his or her personality that's going to help me establish training and education and support that's going to make them fit in, basically like feel successful, right? How are they going to reach a level of success? And every single person's different. Now, if you go in to interview for a brokerage and they're just like, hey, yeah, so like we offer some training and we do this and hey, this is great. And yeah, you're going to make this money. And like, do you see the difference? That's like the teacher that's like, well, I teach third grade. So this is what, the core curriculum says that I'm supposed to be teaching. So I'm just going to go for it. Guys, that's not how education works. That's not how proper education should work, right? Proper education should look at, okay, what children do I have in front of me and what's going to be the best for them, not what's the best for me as a teacher, right? There were years where I planned what I was going to teach and then literally I had to change it all because it wasn't what was best for my students. Now, did I still cover the same curriculum? Yes. My delivery, though, was 100% different. Now, if you are an EXP hater, I'm going to tell you right now, go ahead and stop the podcast. It's been great. Love you. We'll see you next time. But for these next couple of minutes, I'm going to talk about EXP, which is my brokerage. And I'm going to tell you one main reason that I absolutely love my brokerage and why it was the perfect fit for me. Now, when I was in education, I loved PLCs. It was my favorite time of the day. I loved getting together with other teachers that either taught my same grade level or maybe it was PLC groups with, say, like a teacher from the grade level before me and the grade level after me, right? And so we would all get together and we would talk about, hey, this is what I'm doing in my classroom and this is what's working. Hey, you know what? One of the things that we're seeing is the kids that are coming into fourth grade, they don't really have an understanding of this concept. Now, I know that that's taught in third grade. How do you all currently teach it? And then, hey, guys, as a whole group of educators, let's brainstorm some different topics, or like lesson ideas that could maybe help the students get a better grasp of it so that way they keep that learning in the back of their brain when they now join us. And then, hey, fifth grade teachers, I know that this is something that they have to master in fifth grade. Are you finding that our kids have enough knowledge and mastery of fourth grade stuff so that way they can be successful in fifth grade, right? That's what a good working PLC is, right? It's where you're brainstorming and you're seeing what is the end goal for these students when they leave our school, and are we doing what we need to do to ensure that they're going to reach that level, right? Okay, so this is why I love EXP. We have PLCs. We have professional learning communities, and what we call them are masterminds. I am currently a member of about 6 different masterminds. I mastermind with fellow team owners, and we talk about the systems that we have in place for brand new agents to make sure that they're reaching their level of success. I have masterminds with agents who have sold so many more houses than I have. And we talk about like, hey, you know what? I know you've seen all these different markets. I'm still, just barely in my year like 4 or 5 of actual active selling homes in real estate. So what can you tell me about a market like this? And what are the things or maybe the buckets that I'm not using right now to get business? And what can I do? Okay. So I have all these different masterminds that I'm working with other people in my brokerage. And guys, guess what? They're not even all in my state. Yeah. Because the one thing that COVID taught us was that distance and the ability not to be face to face does not limit the ability to learn. Right. And so what we did was we would get together and we would talk. And that is the culture of my brokerage. Now, lots of brokerages will say, oh, yes, we have a great culture. I want to see it. Show it to me. Show me your culture. Let me see. And I don't just want to see like one hoorah that happens like once a year when you go to Vegas and there's like this huge party. Great. Guess what? We do that too. Okay. That's not the culture I'm talking about. I'm talking about the culture of people who are not financially invested in my business, who are willing to pour into me, because that's what a PLC is, right? Okay, when I would get together in PLCs, when I was not full-time teaching, when I was back in the classroom, right? We weren't doing it because it was going to make us look good. We weren't doing this because it was going to, help, some other, it wasn't about us, right? It was about the students and the masterminds that I'm a part of. It's not about the teachers, the real estate agents and stuff. It's about providing a better service to the agents that are joining our brokerage. It's also about providing a better service to the clients that we're going to be serving. Okay. So many things, so many opportunities. But the one thing that I love about my brokerage, eXp Realty, that is unlike any other brokerage is the culture. People truly have a teacher open, flexible mindset, whatever you want to call it. And it's like, you know what? I really know how to do this well. And I want to share it with everyone, not just the people in my office, not just the people who are in my state. I want to be able to share this to people worldwide because I know at the end of the day, it's going to benefit so many more people when I decide to actually share it. So, yeah, you know what? I love real estate. It's so much fun. Like, don't get me wrong. There are days when I'm like, oh man, I miss teaching, but not enough to go back. But guys, this is a hard job. Okay. But you are a teacher and that isn't easy either. So keep it up and reach out to me if I can help. Remember to check in on your people. Make sure that they are always there, right? Okay. And if you'll do me a favor, rate and share this podcast so others can find it more easily. This week I actually got an alert on my Instagram that someone tagged me and said, oh my gosh, I found this podcast. I was so excited. And so I sent her a message and like, I don't think she knew that I was going to do that. And so it was so cool to be able to connect with another realtor. I'm not sure if she is a teacher or not. I need to find that out. I need to get some information, but guess what? She's not even local. So she found me on the airwaves. Guys, connect with me on Instagram. My handle is @Jackie Durbin AZ. Reach out if you have questions about getting licensed, if you have questions about gaining business, if you want to take your business to the next level. If you're sitting there and you're like, you know what, I am a real estate agent. And in 2023, one of the things I put on my vision board is I want to build a team. Guys, if you want to build big, I'm looking for 10 people who right now are listening to this podcast and you're saying, man, in 2023, I want to build big. I want to build my own brokerage. I want to build my own team. I want to build a whole system. Like I want to do something big and I want to be able to give back and I want to do that. If that's you, you need to connect with me because I want to pour every single system, education, anything I have, I want to give it to you so that way you can duplicate. All right, guys. I'll see you next week on Teachers in Real Estate. Bye, guys.